Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1970s.
Oh, go to hell!
We're there already.
This is episode 258, recorded December 31st, 2025.
Gruesome Magazine.
I'm your host, Doc Rod, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1970 and 1979. Each episode, my co-host and I will tackle another classic, or not so classic, film from this wondrous, groovy, gory, and influential decade. And tonight we're doing Blood, Andy Milligan. And
So
who
not
gave
so classic.
No, so classic. And who gave us? Who picked us? It was Bill Mulligan,
Oh,
writer,
relation.
director, special
No
effects
relation.
guru, published author, coffee drinker. How are you doing,
yeah,
sir?
coffee generation. Books and
There you go.
coffee. There you go. That'll get you through life.
There you go.
65 years old now. Woo woo.
Ooh, happy
Just
birthday.
had birthday a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Thank
You
you.
made it. You made it.
Made it. Looks like we made it. Yeah.
Also joining us tonight is Chad Hunt, Comic Hours co-host, Decades of Horror, the Everything, and Iron Maiden fan, it seems. How are you doing, sir?
I am an Iron Maiden fan, and I'm as good as a dollop of whipped cream snuggled between two chocolatey wafers.
Ah. Damn, let's just close up shop now.
Yeah,
that's good, right?
Good, yeah.
I couldn't think of anything else. Sorry.
Well, Jeff is he won't be with us for a few episodes as he is traveling, going to San Diego. Good for him. Hope he has a great time. And filling in those wonderful smelly shoes is the one and only Dave Dreher. Dave, it's been a long time since you've been hanging around us, but welcome back. How are
Thank you.
doing,
Yes,
sir?
great to be back. Well, when Jeff said he needed to go try on that new Speedo on the West Coast, I was like,
Ooh.
okay, I'm there for you, man.
Ah,
I'm with you.
I hope it's the green one.
oh, you've seen
I
multiple.
think that one's special just for you, though, Chad. I don't think I will go.
That's frightening. That's frightening.
Oh,
All right. Well,
alcohol, take me away.
take it away. We are paired with Play Now Media, and these episodes actually end up showing on a number of them. Wicked Horror Channel, was it the Classic Horror Channel?
Mhm.
The Classic Horror Movie Channel,
Yes.
right? That's the movie.
That's it. You got it.
And various others. So we encourage you to check them out. And yeah, we are very happy to be hanging out there at Play Now Media. They have a lot of cool stuff, and sometimes it's the only place that we can see the movie that we're reviewing. Not this one. But what are we doing tonight? What has Bill got us into? Well, let's take a look at the card, shall we, and get into things. Oh, Blood, 1973, written and directed by Andy Milligan.
Yikes.
Said there. The cast includes Alan Brennert, Hope Stansbury, Patricia Gall, Michael Fischetti, Pamela Adams, John Wallowich, Eve Crosby, and Martin Raymert. Production company was Bryanson Kent and Diamano.
Diamano. Uh-oh. I know
Damiano.
that name.
Damiano. Yes.
Damiano, yes.
Filming locations was Staten Island, New York City, New York. The release date was September 73 in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And then there were various other U.S. areas began, I would imagine, at March 1974. And it was probably mostly at drive-ins, I would suspect, unless you were in New York City. The budget is an estimated $25,000. And it might
Every
all
cent
be
of it on the
yeah.
screen.
I was going to say every cent is on the screen.
For sure.
It's also known as The Black Nightmare in Blood, which is a pretty good title.
Yeah, that's a good
And in Spain, it was called Sangre, which is blood. Synopsis: Dracula's daughter and her werewolf husband attempt to survive in late 19th century Staten Island.
19th century.
Yeah.
18th. Is it 18th or 19th? I guess it's 19th. Whatever.
Either way, either one of them.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No, it would be 19th because they made it on the 20th. I can't do time. But anyway, let's move on. So, Bill, sir.
Explain yourself.
Before I have you explain yourself, hang on.
Nope.
I'm going to let everybody know what we're going to do is we're going to first share when we first saw this, what did we think of it, and does it hold up today? Kind of a short little review from each of us. Then we're going to dive into the marketing and cast. And then at the end of the show, we're going to wrap up with some feedback. This is going to be fun. So, Bill, now take it away. You picked this. Why?
Why?
And then when did you first see it and all that? Yeah.
Wow. I figured it was time we did an Andy Milligan movie because
you've been threatening us forever.
Yes, despite everything like his movies, he is an important figure in horror. So let me tell you a little story. So my dad was the greatest guy ever and super generous. He'd give you the shirt off his back, but he also liked a bargain. And so one day my sister was like, could you take my friends and I to the drive-in? And my dad's looking, we had drive-ins back then, and he's looking and he sees a triple feature. Oh, why should he pay for all these idiot giggling schoolgirls to go to one movie when he could go to three?
Right.
He didn't ask me about this plan because I would have warned him off, because the movies were Headless Eyes, Tender Flesh, which is the only good one out of the bunch, and most importantly, the ghastly ones.
No.
And I would have warned him that none of these movies are appropriate for this plan. And especially the ghastly ones is an Andy Milligan movie from Staten Island, which is our home stomping grounds. That's where I was born. And that's where a lot of our family lived. And this guy was infamous. And I knew about him from reading articles in the Monster Times. His stuff never got talked about in Famous Monsters, but Castle of Frankenstein and Monster Times would mention him. And pretty much they all had the same opinion, which is, if you're a fan of Andy Milligan's movies, there is absolutely no hope for you. I think they did. I think he actually had an interview in Fangoria. And Fangoria was not the kind of magazine that would have hard-hitting journalism trying to make you look bad. But Andy, you could just feel the bile and unhappiness and bitterness and anger coming across from this person interviewing him. Anyway, my dad took them there and they showed the ghastly ones, because they would show the worst movies first and work your way up to the best one. And it was not a pleasant experience for anyone. It's just, yeah, his stuff is just awful. I tried to watch some of his movies. I could barely get through them. You just give up. They're so incompetent. But then I heard about Blood, and it said of all the movies that he did, this one sounded the most interesting. And I watched it, and like, this is by far the best Andy Milligan movie we are probably likely to see. A lot of his movies have been lost. He started out as an experimental filmmaker. He was a homosexual man back in the time when that was a bad time to be. And his first movie, Vapors, was a very actually kind of heartfelt, just a character piece. And it went nowhere. So then he started making trashy horror movies. He was paid nothing. And his thing was, we're going to give you $16,000, make a movie, whatever's left over, you keep. So he made them as cheap as he could. His movies are terrible. But much like Jess Franco and who was it? Somebody was writing about Jess Franco and said, you can't just watch one, you have to watch all of them. Well, he made about 300 movies, so forget that. But Milligan did. When you watch more than a few of his movies, you get his worldview. And he was a true artist in that he used his art to express his view of the world. The problem is his view of the world is just the most horrific, depressing, angry, rage-filled. He's working out his demons, and the man had demons up the wazoo. So he's like a much less pleasant Ed Wood.
Oh.
But
Oh,
even
God.
Ed had a pretty sad ending. But Ed Wood's ending was a happy one compared to what Andy Milligan went through. And
Wow, what was his ending?
I mean, the ending was, he made enemies wherever he went. He was ripped off. His films were eventually just, I think, melted down for silver nitrate. I don't know. They just completely disregarded. He was always on the edge of poverty. Went out to California, made a couple of bad movies there. He seems to have personally mellowed out because actually there's a few people who remember him fondly from those years, but he contracted AIDS and died. You know, that was a bad time to have AIDS too. And
There's never a good time for that.
no, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
now you could be treated. Back then, it was an awful way to die, and he died pretty miserably and just a pauper. It's and I'm sure feeling an absolute failure in life. Were he alive today, you know, most of these filmmakers are like, oh, if only they had hung on just a little bit longer, we'd be celebrating them and everything. I don't know that it was in the cards for Andy Milligan ever to be a happy person. His childhood was apparently horrific. There's all kinds of abuse, every kind of imaginable abuse. Now, Andy Milligan, from everything I've read and from accounts from people, he perpetuated that cycle. So there's just nothing, there's no happiness in it. And but it is a fascinating story, and his movies do have that quality of I am looking at a tormented individual here, and he's using it to make art. Sometimes you get that and you get Van Gogh. More often, you probably get Andy Milligan. But I think there's the story of him, even though I don't like his movies, I don't think I would have liked him. Thank God I didn't know about him when I was a kid going to Staten Island all the time, because if I knew there was a guy making horror movies in Staten Island when I was 13 years old, I would have run out there to his house, and that's where they would have found my dead body probably.
Oh my God.
So yeah, you know, it's all things work out for a reason, but there's something so tragic about it. And yet he does have a collection of films, and he's been rediscovered. And now there are showings of his movies and some of the early ones that he made before bitterness just took over his life. It's an interesting story, and we'll talk a little bit now. If you want to read that story, which might be more entertaining than watching the movies, there are several books out about him, and they are appropriately, yes, here we go. The Ghastly one is probably the best. Double Negative. So the thing about Andy, okay, the people who worked with him were not exactly up and comers for the most part. They were down and outers. And one of the people he worked with later became infamous as he bombed some abortion clinics. He was on the wanted list. He was, you can't imagine two more different people than Andy Milligan and this guy whose name I've forgotten. And that's what Double Negative, I believe it's a fictionalized account of the two of them. It's like Ed Wood. The more you dig into it, the scarier and scarier stuff you find. For all that, Blood is his best movie. It's got a coherent plot. It's got some entertaining bits. I could actually watch it without wanting to turn it off or throw my controller out through a window. And so I figured if we're going to do an Andy Milligan movie, and fate says we will, this was probably the one to start with. It's all downhill from here, folks.
Oh my gosh.
If you're tempted to continue this, no.
Don't.
All
right. Well, let's get into some more dreary news, and let's find out what the rest of the crew thought of this. We'll start off with our guest, Dave Dreher. What did you think of Blood?
Well, actually, I've even listening to Bill talk about. I didn't know that much about Andy Milligan, but I kind of appreciate this film even more. But I told Doc, because we were talking earlier, this movie kind of won me over. It is not a good film by any stretch of the imagination. But with that being said, you could feel the passion that Andy Milligan had for this project. It reminded me a lot of an Ed Wood film. I mean, Ed Wood thought he was the greatest filmmaker to ever live, and no one was ever going to convince him otherwise. And I just kind of got that same vibe from this film, from him. It was a very convoluted plot, but it was very well thought out, and it continued to move forward. And by the end of it, I have to say I kind of enjoyed it in a weird way. So I'm certainly glad it wasn't any longer than it was, because I probably would have gouged my eyes out. But But with that being said, I wouldn't have a problem telling anyone to watch this movie. Oddball.
Especially those you don't like.
Yeah, it's weird. It really is, because it's not good, but I felt what Andy was trying to do with it, and I appreciated that. He just didn't have the resources or the money to pull it off, but that didn't stop him from trying.
Yeah.
That make any sense?
Yes, it does. That's a pretty accurate description of what I saw.
Ironically, this is the truncated version, because apparently there wasn't a longer version, because there's supposed to be a subplot of vampire bats going around and attacking people. And first of all, that sounds great. Second of all, I can't imagine that he did it well. So I'm sort of what would that have even looked like?
Well, there's something to hunt down.
It probably wouldn't have looked good.
It looked very rubbery, even more so than hammer bats. Chad Hunter, just keep your hands away from Bill Mulligan and tell us what you thought of Andy Milligan's film Blood.
Did we coin that term, hammer bats? I think we own the copyright on that.
Yeah.
I had never seen any of Andy Milligan's movies, but I've heard about them, and I've heard how bad they are. But I was kind of curious to see what it was all about, and so I watched this night before last, and I've spent the rest of this time up to the show trying to forget that I watched it. but after listening to Bill, I can't roast it as bad as I wanted to roast it. Now that I'm here, but I came away with it seriously. A couple of us know how hard it is to get a movie made. The fact that he made the movie alone is a miracle in itself. That's a lot of stuff to pull together. Costuming, actors that are halfway competent, of makeup effects, lighting, of which there was none here. But
all natural lighting.
The special effect. It takes a lot to bring a movie together, and so that's what I came away from it with. It is not a good movie. It is a terrible movie. I mean, this is supposed to have happened in the 19th century, and you've got modern architecture in the background, flagpoles and modern walkways with railing, and that just look like something out of a city scene somewhere. And it makes the actors and the characters look like they're cosplaying, or something. But I guess he did the best he could with it. But it's a terrible movie. But after seeing it, I think it was like Dave said, you can tell there's heart behind the whole thing. There's a love of monster movies. Maybe there's and that will show through every time. It doesn't matter how much your movie cost, is your passion for it and the heart that you put into it. So that I came away appreciative of. You could tell that he was putting his all into this movie, and you have to give him his props for that. Even though the movie's bad, it could have been a lot worse, for sure. But it was, I'm the same with Dave. I wouldn't have any problem telling anybody to watch it just for those reasons, So. Yeah, I can appreciate what he was doing. Yeah. I won't say I like the movie, but I appreciate what he did. He did on it.
Was this? You think this was like his Citizen Kane? This was like the best he could ever do.
He still
where did this film? Hey, Bill, where did this fall into his filmography? Was this? This was mid part of his career?
Later after the grindhouses were starting to shut down and everything. So this seems like a later one.
This was 73 and 74.
73. So. Yeah, I feel like I need to I'll probably freeze myself if I go offline here, if I go on to
Careful,
IMDb.
careful.
I feel like a lot of his stuff was actually late 60s.
Yeah, the
Some
like
blood
Ghastly Ones
feels
was
to me like-
68.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Torture Dungeon and Butchers, yeah, Bloodthirsty Butchers was 1970. Guru to Mad Monk was 70. Rats Are Coming, Werewolves Are Here is 72. So yeah.
Yeah. His glory years were boy. So I mean, he was taking advantage of what was going on with after Night of the Living Dead and everything. Now the gore stuff was starting to become popular. He worked for William Mishkin, who was one of the great grindhouse producers. Did a lot of stuff, and they had a love-hate relationship, but it worked. Mishkin's son despised Andy Milligan, and apparently they literally threw away a lot of the negatives, so many of his films are lost forever, especially some of the more experimental ones. So yeah, it was, but that was the time, they needed to fill up product. If you were lucky enough to walk around Times Square at that time in the grindhouse, the glory years of the grindhouse, it's just amazing how many films were being shown. There was the porn and everything, but there was also triple feature kung fu with a spaghetti western and maybe something a little obscure. I mean, they were just churning through product and needed stuff to be made. It was a golden age of trash.
Golden age of trash.
And Milligan could produce 2 or 3 of these a year easily. They didn't take long.
Well, I'll let you know what I thought of this movie. Oh my God, it's so bad. It's so bad movie. The lighting is terrible. The cinematography is terrible. The acting is, well, some people are good, but most of the people are either wooden or over the top theatrical kind of, and there's stage makeup, plastic teeth. This movie, it's so bad. It's so bad. And damn it, if I didn't have a good time. I despised every moment of it and enjoyed the entire damn thing. So I don't know what that says. I mean, it's kind of what Dave was saying. You could tell that everybody was having a good time. They were all enjoying making this film. I mean, because it translates, but it also translates more like a stage play than a movie. and then I swear to you, there were some scenes I couldn't see anything. It was just gurrs and growls and people screaming. And but in the end, that was kind of like, that had a lot in it. It has vampires and werewolves, and it has man-eating plants, and it has vampires and specific ones at that, and specific werewolves at that. When you get to the end of it, and then it has a silly but fun cameo at the end. Well, it's not a cameo; it's just more stolen Universal Monsters references. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but this movie is. You can't express how bad this movie is. I mean, it has, the editing is weird. It's choppy.
Now, there's one reason for that. One of the reasons why Andy Milligan made movies, and this is a great reason to do it, he had a camera. He had a 16 millimeter, I think it was Ariflex camera, which I think recorded sound on the film. But the sound stripe and the picture are not together. The sound is like 18, frames ahead or something. Because I've worked with that when I was doing Super 8 stuff. Well, that makes it really tricky to edit. It means sometimes you either have to have some, dead silence at the beginning or at the end. It just makes it tricky because if you cut for the visuals, you're going to cut off some of your dialogue. And it's also one reason why, and this is the Andy Milligan kind of a signature move. He would start twirling the camera around whenever there's violence. He starts spinning the camera and everything, and that's his
It's cute
like,
edit.
That's his, yeah, it's sort of the equivalent of Jess Franco likes to zoom into pubic hair and then go to, fade to black. Like, wow, okay, well, there you are. All these low budget filmmakers have their little quirks that you can immediately watch and you're like, yep, I'm watching an Andy Milligan movie.
Well, normally we do taglines. But guess who forgot to put taglines in our
Was there a tagline?
Was it Jeff?
Sure,
Damn it, Jeff.
I'm sure there's, I don't know if there was tagline. That's a good question. If there is, I'm going to read it.
There's barely.
Yes, there is one tagline. And
oh,
here we go. And I'm going to, the part of Chad will be played by this old jerk.
Wow. Oh,
but here we go. Right. So do that. And we go down here and we do something down here because this is, I've lost it all. It's all gone. So, oh no, here it is. We do this. All right, there you go. That's fun. Right now, I got to scroll all the way back. I don't know how Jeff does it. And so Chad,
he's retired. He's got plenty of time to learn it.
You're off the hook. So here's the one tagline we have for Blood: sickening horror to haunt your nightmares.
It's sickening, all right.
Yeah.
It is indeed. All right. Well. I gotta do it again here.
And that's
sucks, don't it? I told you.
Yeah. That was taglines. Which
Chad's our hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
Wow.
All right. All that was the worst.
Jeff will be looking at this. Look at how they fall apart without me.
Oh my God. All right. So let's get into, we're going to start looking into some of the posters and stuff for this movie.
So embarrassing.
Oh my God. Jeff's going to see this and go, what am I done? All right. So there it is. The sickening horror to haunt your nightmares.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's released by the Damiano.
Now, do you recognize that name?
No.
That was Gerard Damiano was the director of a little low budget film that is possibly, almost certainly, the most successful movie on a cost to revenue ratio.
What is
Deep
that?
Throat?
He did
Deep Throat. Yep, he did. He directed Deep Throat. He did it for the mob, because of course. And funny story, unless you're him. So he was, he got paid a pittance, but would get a small percentage of what the movie made. The movie made a freaking fortune. And one day the producers, the mob guys, came to him and convinced him to sign away that particular clause in his contract for a meager flat sum. I guess they were very persuasive.
I bet they were.
Yeah,
but they were.
They made him an offer.
Yeah, he did not refuse.
But there's very little actual posters or anything for this.
No, there's just nothing.
One. And
that's one of the reasons why I chose this, is that I'd heard about it and I heard the premise. Like, well, that sounds like way more plot than most of Andy's movies. It's atypical of his stuff. For one thing, it's got, and this is a welcome departure, it's got none of his sex scenes, which is great, because his sex scenes would make you swear off sex.
No.
Even the concept of it, you don't ever want to do it again, look at it again, or think about it again. Yeah,
terrible. I did find out. I discovered that I have seen another one of his films. I watched, for some stupid reason, I watched Carnage.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it was. I made it through. I didn't get bored and turn it off or get upset, but I watched it.
He got to the point where he was remaking his previous crappy movies, and had learned nothing in the interim to make them better. So
here's the Spain one, which is actually close to an actual poster. But I think most of the stuff was like this.
Right. Yeah. See, this is what we lost when the grindhouses shut down. When Times Square got Disneyfied and everything, you'd be walking down the street,
closing down.
Yeah. And you're like, look at this. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, classic. Torso, okay, not a classic, but fun bit of giallo. Shriek of the Mutilated, absolutely terrible, but fascinating. And then we got Andy Milligan, yeah. So, look, that's a full day's worth of entertainment.
That's worth $250
for sure.
Now, here's the thing though. If you went to the Grindhouse, so I did that once. I don't even remember exactly what I saw. This was once I did it alone. Alone. And I was probably, I'm thinking about 14 or 15 or so. So they probably shouldn't have even let me in, but they'll take your money. But the lady behind the glass was like looking me over, and I was like, sure, she was going to say, you need a guardian to see these R-rated movies. They're horror movies. I wasn't trying to see porn or anything. And she looks me over and she's like, listen, dear, I'll let you in, but you have to promise me you won't go to the bathroom. And I'm like, okay. I thought she was being like, I won't go to the bathroom in the theater. Like, what am I, an animal? I was raised better than that. And I got there, and there was a movie already playing. And when it was over, everyone but me got up and went to the bathroom. Like way more people, all men, than could fit in this bathroom. I have no idea what was going on in the bathroom. Thanks to that woman. Yeah. So
you didn't have to find out. Oh my God.
These places were terrifying.
But you did it. You made it. You survived.
You made it.
Looks like, yeah. Dodged a lot of bullets growing up, I realize now.
No kidding.
I have no words for that story.
Got lost on the way home.
Now that you've told the story, here's a couple shots of it.
Look at this. Oh my God. Look at the beauty of that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I missed.
Oh, where else could you go see The Body Beneath, Guru the Mad Monk, and if that didn't tickle your fancy, Song of Norway? What the actual hell?
Mm-hmm.
That these things are together. And not only did you walk by this and everything, but they had all kinds of ballyhoo. No matter how marginal the movie was, they had all kinds of, like, not just posters, but cardboard cutouts and all kinds of really cool stuff. Vomit bags and everything. No matter how negligible these movies were, somebody actually went through the trouble of making a press kit. It was just a wonderful time for movies, even bad movies.
Yeah, Santos used to love going.
Oh man,
wonderful stories. I miss him so much.
I know. If I'd known Santos, he and I would have gone there together.
Oh my God,
that would have been fun. Well, we wouldn't have used the bathroom.
She would have said, "Listen, boys, I'm gonna let you in, but whatever you two do, don't go into the bathroom.
Don't go to the bathroom. That's why you get the big gulp. That's why you get the big cup of soda."
Yeah. And then you pee in the cup.
Yes, exactly. And if you were raised right, as I was, you would take it out with you instead of just leaving it there on the floor for someone to kick
over and
all go dribbling.
Well, this is not the review I thought we were going to get today.
Well, this is the one you're getting.
But all right. Well, this is.
There he is.
And I take it this is in an older
diabetes.
Yep, diabetes. Yeah. When you look at the pictures of him, what few pictures there are, it's mostly in his older years where he had sort of mellowed out and just looked like grandpa and was still full of beans. He, but you say that people look like they were having a good time making the movie. That's not the sense I get from reading interviews with those who are still alive who talk about working on an Andy Milligan movie was you're in the trenches. And you hear that a lot about some of these filmmakers. They say the same thing about Russ Meyer, but Russ Meyer was just working you hard to get it done and everything. And Andy, people were getting beaten because the characters are getting beaten, and he wanted, realism. We're only going to shoot this once, so if characters got to fight, they need to actually fight. But these were all off Broadway actors. They were used to suffering. And that was the thing, the people back then, the actors back then, that was a tough existence. 70s, Broadway, New York, you're starving. I mean, you're literally a starving actor. And so the opportunity to make a little bit of money doing a low budget horror crap movie, maybe doing some porn loops or something. No one's ever going to see this, and I got to eat. So they did it. And then, much to their chagrin, these things will live on forever. Yeah.
Nobody knew that this would happen back then.
No.
No.
They would do these, like we've done it. We've covered like the UK actors. They they would be in stage, and then on the off season they would just do some crappy horror movie. And
they re-record things over.
Yeah, and then
old tapes.
And then they found out that 50 years later people are loving the films.
Yeah,
who knew? And like we said, even Andy Milligan, he's got a Severin package. Look at that.
And I'm sure these are probably looking better than they ever looked, including when they were first shown.
Kind of makes me curious about getting that. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say curiosity killed the cat.
If I got him, it would be for the extra features. I'd be interested in, like if Tim Lucas is doing some stuff behind the scenes or interviewing some of the surviving actors.
All right. Before we get into his other films, Bill, you made the most hilarious graphic. And this is how to spot an Andy Milligan movie. Please,
yes, it's Andy Milligan
explain this.
101. So a couple things that you see. I was disappointed with the poster for Blood because one of the things I like about Andy Milligan are his absolutely terrible but creative posters. Here we have The Man with Two Heads, which is just basically a Jekyll Hyde, his version of a Jekyll Hyde thing. And it's cartoony and ugly. It looks like something from, I don't know, 100 years ago. It's terrible, but
unerotic sex scenes.
Yeah.
That movie was called Plumber's Crack, correct?
We got terrible makeup, but effective in the sense that, it's one of those things when you see a character like disemboweling a rabbit, you're pretty sure they just got a rabbit and disemboweled it. They're just slapping stuff on the people, and and then the regular makeup, as you say, is very stagey because he was a stage director. He did more stage work, which we'll never see, but I can only imagine what they were about. And I know what they were about. They're about miserable people screaming at each other, which describes every Andy Milligan movie, especially if it's married people, or God help it, if there's a mother. Apparently Andy Milligan's mother was a monster, and he has used that in almost every film he's in. The idea of the monstrous, overbearing mother and unhappy marriages, which would probably describe his parents. Now, strangely, for someone who has so little to work with, most of his movies are period pieces. They take place in the Victorian age or earlier. They can get away with it because he was also a costumer. That's one of the things he really enjoyed doing. And he actually had a costume shop. In typical Andy Milligan fashion, people would come in to buy his dresses and costumes and stuff, and he would end up yelling at them and kicking them out because they didn't appreciate everything he'd done. He just couldn't help himself. The lighting is uniformly terrible in his movies. I don't know how he could keep on making movies and not realize he needed more lights. There's no getting around them. Not even
just didn't have the lights that he could
bring.
Not.
And and in fairness, this is something that Chad and I don't have to face anymore because shooting on digital video now, you can shoot by moonlight. You need very little light to be able. It helps if you know what you're doing, but you can get away with a lot more. And lastly, yes, the most unerotic sex scenes. Clearly, someone who had no interest in this sort of thing. Andy was apparently into some pretty rough stuff. rougher than what they would allow to be shown on these movies. So when it came to regular sex, and a lot of his movies were sex films, they weren't hardcore, I don't think. But God, I can't imagine anyone getting any enjoyment out of watching them at all. But you know what? His movies were so cheap, they had to make money. If they only showed them for a week, they made money on Times Square. So there you go. That's what you can expect. Oh, and just the theme. What's the theme of an Andy Milligan movie? Hate.
I was going to say, you're pretty strong on the
permeates every frame. It's there. It's just hate, hate, hate. Do not go expecting anything uplifting.
Yeah, I love all the Andy Milligan heads scattered around.
Yeah.
And is that poking eyeballs out, that picture?
Yeah, I don't know
what is that from.
I think it might be from Guru the Mad Monk, but I'm not 100% sure. And they look like ping pong balls. And you know why? Because they were ping pong balls.
Well, we were noticing that what was it, Dave? You said that the teeth were what? The vampire teeth?
They were novelty teeth.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
Plastic novelty teeth, right?
I buy them
every
for my
Halloween
grandkids
you could
every
buy
Halloween,
them.
yeah.
Oh, it was so funny when I saw that. That kind of made me like the movie a little bit more that they did.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Here it is.
you know the scene in there too, the scene with the mouse in Boy.
Yeah.
I mean that was obviously a live mouse that was in the trap.
Was not for long.
You know. Yeah,
they just chopped the head off and then she pretended to put it in her mouth.
Well, okay, let's go with that she pretended.
Did she actually put it in her mouth?
I could easily see him yelling at her that we don't have time to go find a damn fake mouse head. Just put on your big girl panties and stick it in your mouth.
No. That was gross. Oh my
Didn't
God.
hurt my cat.
Oh my God. Well,
here's some of those posters I talked about.
But look at them. There's something kind of weirdly special about them.
There really are. They're, and I don't know that he had anything to do with it, but whoever was in charge of making Andy's horrible movie posters, I got to give him credit with they're just so grindhousey. Actually, the Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me one is actually pretty well made, but The Rats Are Coming, The Werewolves Are Here is probably the most famous Andy Milligan movie because it was a werewolf movie set in Staten Island, as they all were, because he lived in Staten Island. And
they always filmed in his house.
And then Willard came out. And I'm sure Michigan called him up and said, your werewolf movie sucks. And Andy's probably like, this is a surprise. He goes, well, put some rats in it. So, and then we'll we could make some cash on Willard and Ben, and they did that. It's pretty terrible.
Did it work?
No, you can barely tell what's going. You can barely see the rats because he didn't have any lighting. My God, Andy.
The rats are coming. Where are they? Oh,
I wonder if he was also one of those folks who may not have had complete control over what quality of 16 millimeter film. A lot of these guys would use when a real movie is being shot and they get, we've only got 20 feet of film left. Well, we're not going to shoot because we're going to run out. So we'll just stop here. And they would cut that undeveloped film and sell it to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'd be shooting, you could get a whole bunch of this stuff for a song because film was pretty expensive back then. But you weren't sure what you were getting. So, this might be good for, how do you light a film when you don't even know what film you're using? It's a big difference between Kodachrome and Ektachrome and what speed it was. So that might be one reason why. And better to be underexposed than overexposed because you can't do anything with overexposed, but underexposed, you can try something, I guess.
I don't think they tried anything. They didn't try anything.
There was one scene that I laughed out loud. It was when guy was, laughed out loud for real. I'd giggle at something, but here it is, the Victorian era. Everybody's dressed as Victorian era. The little old lady on the sidewalk, and where they usually have these London accents, like, those people that just moved in the house over there. She's going, Yeah, Ovleski, that sounds like some kind of stranger. Strangers ain't good, or
Yeah.
I was cracking up listening to that. It's so out of pocket for what it was supposed to be. It just seems so weird for her to spout out this southern drawl,
Yeah.
dressed like she was.
It was probably her actual voice. So he made a film in '67, Bill, called The Naked Witch. Is this a witch movie or is it a nudie film because it's naked?
I think it might be a little bit of both, but I think that might be a lost film.
Oh, is it?
I think it might be.
Beth is a young woman who must struggle with being shunned by society for her past legacy, as well as developing a romance with the local fisherman, and then seeks protection by hiding out with a simple-minded hunchback.
Oh, that old chestnut.
I have no idea what that means. And,
I mean, so
it's a drama horror, so I guess they want.
If you're looking for themes, a lot of Andy Milligan movies are people who are shunned, outsiders, those who are looked down on by society. I mean, and that certainly would have some resonance. It just, and again, I've seen bits and pieces of Vapors. It's pretty well written. It's pretty well acted. It's got that kind of a John Cassavetes, boy. There's someone whose name probably doesn't get mentioned a lot with Andy Milligan, but it's got that quality. And I feel like he had the potential to be a well-regarded underground filmmaker of that time, but there's no way it was going to happen. His demons were just gonna.
They were loud.
They were loud. And so this is where it all ended up. He was able to make a living, stay alive doing horror movies, and they are unique. They are definitely unique. They're not enjoyable. At least I haven't gotten to the point where I can see past. Like, I love Ed Wood stuff, even his worst stuff. I like it. I see, the energy, what you're talking about, like the energy behind it and everything. And with Andy Milligan, I don't know. It's just too sad.
Well, he made films up to 1989. He Legacy of Blood in '78, House of Seven Bells in '79,
Monstrosity.
Yeah.
He really bizarre, the strangest one. It's on YouTube now. It's one of those things they keep finding lost Andy Milligan movies. And there's a lot out there. There's some we may not even know about until they find them. Same thing happens with Ed Wood. There's movies that people are arguing about whether or not Ed Wood made them. He made something called The Red Rooster.
The Red Rooster.
Red Rooster. It's a
short. It's a short.
Yeah, it's like a little. I think it was supposed to be like a TV thing or something, and it's a comedy. It's not very funny, but it doesn't have any of the. It's actually, for Andy Milligan, it's actually kind of happy and all. So I feel like maybe, he was very poor. He was struggling and everything, but he seems to have gotten mellow as he got older. But then the illness hit him, and it was pretty rough. So I think his last movie is one called Surgikill.
Surgikill, yeah, 1989.
Yeah. Oh.
And The Weirdo, same year.
And The Weirdo, yeah. They're dire.
Dire. We'll keep moving on then. Here's one of the people that actually did films after this or before this. Right? This is Hope Stansbury, and she played Mrs. Dracula or Mrs. Talbot.
Yeah. Daughter of Dracula.
Or Orlovsky.
I've seen worse vampires. I kind of liked her.
Yeah, and her plastic teeth. It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what that lady was. With the makeup. I don't know what they were trying to.
A witch, or I don't know.
Well, it kind of felt like she was supposed to be that, but she didn't really do anything witchy poo. Did she?
No.
She's kind of lurked around.
Yeah.
I think she was
so extreme for her.
I think this was Andy Milligan's mother making an appearance in the movie.
No.
Well, not his real mother, but I think that's the way he described her, as being large, overbearing, domineering, castrating, awful, loud, and he had issues.
She looks like she has rickets in this scene.
Oh yeah, there was like, so one of them was like this, and it looked
Somebody
like
give her some vitamin C.
Oh, I know, it was like strange.
So Hope is still alive and has made appearances at conventions or some of these Andy Milligan retrospectives. I think that's the photo where I got the photograph on the bottom there, was at a recent thing, maybe coinciding with the Severin films release. And she seems like a nice person. I'm sure that lots of stories to tell. I think she made a few movies with Andy.
We can check and see.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought she was the best. I thought she was one of the better parts of it. The female leads were good.
She made 5 films. She was in The Degenerates, Depraved, For Love of Ivy, and The Rats Are Coming, The Werewolves Are Here, along with Blood. So,
Love of Ivy, I think, was a legit movie, not an Andy Milligan movie.
Sidney Poitier, yeah.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
I'm glad she's still around. I'd be interested to see interviews with her because even, just an interesting period of filmmaking going on there.
Yeah. Now we're going to take a look at some of the gore effects later, but this picture, which is also shown here, of her, the vampire, when we first see her, right? They take the thing off and she's all like, that's wax. Come on. Is that not just wax?
It
It certainly looks like it.
Yeah. Wax, latex, gum, scrape from the bottom.
Oh my God. Could be like spam.
Yeah. Oh.
But there's the plastic teeth shoved into it.
They got one good eye, one good glass eye, and the other one might be an olive for all I can tell, but no attempt being made to make them symmetric.
It works in the instant that it's there, but oh my God, it's just like,
say it's only on screen for like a 1/10 of a second.
Yeah.
Just enough to go, ugh.
When I was watching it, I thought the scab that the one girl had on her leg or whatever it was they kept giving her injections for, I thought they had uncovered her leg and that was what was on her leg. So I was like, what the hell?
So for those who haven't seen this movie, the premise is the son of the werewolf and the daughter of Dracula are married, but she has some condition where she turns into her flesh starts turning into a gummy wax-like material, and the only cure is extracts from man-eating plants that they keep the servants around for to feed the plants blood so they can get the extract. But somehow this also causes you to become scarred or enfeebled or whatever. The one guy's like walking on wooden legs, and
he's like on a cart, isn't he?
I guess so. Yeah,
looks like he's on one of those push carts.
Some kind of a push cart,
like Eddie Murphy and trading places.
Yeah. It's never really explained, but you can just hear you can hear that he's on a cart or in a wagon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never show
it. Sound like rubbing balloons together as
they're
do,
fantastic.
as they would, sure.
They were so. Oh my God, I love the man-eating plants. It was so. Yeah, they're like, don't touch it.
Mm-hmm. and that is the one thing you can admire about someone like Milligan is that kind of going above and beyond. He doesn't have any budget at all.
Just look
at you're coming up with this crazy premise that's going to require makeup and effects and man-eating plants, and you're setting it in the past. So that means you've got to come up with why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you making it harder? They would have taken any crap you came up with, but maybe he figured that's what, that made him valuable, and that he was the only one who was doing that kind of thing. I don't know if there was a whole lot of demand for that kind of thing, but if there was, he was the only one doing it.
No. He must have loved his Hammer films because he felt like he was trying to make Staten Island was a Hammer film. But
I've never read an interview or anything with him that talked about what his influence, why horror. Did he really like horror, or was it either that or porn?
Yeah, it just
I don't know. This feels like someone doing a Hammer movie with,
with modern conveniences.
Yeah, and no
like
budget.
cabinetry
And no money. Yeah, and no money.
No money.
A note. Let's talk about Patricia Gall. She played the limping helper, the one that took care of the plants, and she has like a weird relationship with the other guy that's taking care of the plants. But then she also kind of noodles around with
Her brother.
Talbot, and then that's her brother. And then she also has a sailor that comes by to visit her.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be her brother.
Oh, that's her brother. Okay.
Yeah. You might think, gee, they seem awfully affectionate for brother and sister, but that's another theme in in Andy Milligan's movies, and let's just leave it at that. So she ended up marrying Jeff Goldblum.
Wow, good for her.
Yeah.
And she's still hanging around with us.
That was his first wife, yeah. And she did go on to do some other stuff above and beyond Andy Milligan. I'll bet she doesn't talk about that much in interviews.
Yeah, because this was her first film.
Mm-hmm.
She did an episode of Hill Street Blues and 10 Speed Brown Shoe. She did an episode of Tucker's Witch. She was a mental patient in Francis. You remember that?
Oh wow, yeah.
Quincy and Me, Buffalo
Tucker's
Girl.
Witch. Boy, I have not thought about that in forever. That was like a one season. Tucker's Witch. Man.
Well, maybe that's how she met Goldblum, was on the 10 Speed and Brown Shoe.
Yeah, the same. That was a Jeff Goldblum show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh man, it might have been. Yeah. Oh wow. She was Captain Matthews on that one episode. Interesting. Yeah, it was Ben Vereen and Jeff Goldblum. Yeah. How funny. Yeah, and then she was in Aftermath for 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Television series nobody wanted.
I mean, I thought she was
Silverado.
As good as anyone else in this? Yeah, Silverado. Yeah,
Silverado.
Yeah, she was in Silverado. Big Business. She was in 2 episodes of Saint Elsewhere. She was in an episode of Roseanne. Yeah, so she did the thing.
Wow.
She made her rounds.
Yeah. 3 Men and a Little Lady. She got into the 3rd one, I guess. Was that the 3rd one or the 2nd one? No, it must have been the
2nd one, isn't it?
I don't know. It was 3 Men and a Baby. Who knows? She played Mrs. Walker. But good for her. She did, and there's more. Tons more. The last thing she did was in 2013. But yeah. She was one of the, to me, she was the best actress on the table. Mm-hmm. She was the only one. And they focused on her quite a bit. So
what happened to her in the end of the movie? What happened to anyone in the end of the movie? It looked like the whole place was burning down, but then we see it again. It's like, no, there's a couple of scorch marks here and there.
It did look like the whole place was. And they talked about that. This is the side of the house that didn't burn.
Yeah.
But yes, I think everybody made it except for the werewolf and the vampire, didn't they?
Just sort of.
I don't know.
And then we have the little jokey ending. Wah, wah.
We'll talk about that here in a second. But here's I love the title of this graphic. It's actors you will never see again. Yeah. Is that Michael Fischetti? Or who is that? Do we even know?
Do we even care?
Yeah.
I think it is Michael Fischetti, right? Because hang on, I'm going to look at the cast here. No,
Marty, we're going back to the future.
Michael Fischetti played Orlando, and I don't even know who Orlando was. Alan, the bottom one there is Alan Berendt.
He's the werewolf.
He's the werewolf.
He used to be a werewolf exactly twice in the movie, and yeah.
And this was his one and only film, but it was his film. And then the other guy, what was he? He was a doctor, wasn't he?
He was like the banker or something who ripped off the family, and
because no, he's Carl Root, right?
Yeah, Root. That was his name.
So it's John Wallowich was his name. And he did 2 things. He did this and an episode of Cosby Mysteries. He was a piano player. But oh my God, his character had the stagiest stage makeup.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was just like What stage did you fall off of? Good God, it was
It's like
almost comical.
whatever crepe hair they didn't use for his side hair there, they just stuck on his eyebrows.
Yep. So, and the rest of the cast is pretty much the same.
Yeah, just
So here's a couple of the good gore. It's very brief, except for the top one. The top one they did linger on, the one where the guy was getting eaten by the plant.
yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't convincing or effective, but it was kind of like, well, that's cool. The idea and setup is actually pretty cool. Just wish it was shot.
And then the axe in the head is something he went to a few times. I'm thinking he must have had like a trick axe or something.
He must have had a trick axe.
Because I've seen that. You know, there's a couple of Andy Milligan movies where you have somebody, they get an axe in the head, and they must have had some kind of hose or something, because it spritz out blood going down the stair. You know, they put that in there.
Yep.
Delivers the goods. I mean, you know, if you can see it, it's okay.
Well, those two you could. Those
Yeah.
two. Yeah.
It's like, was the werewolf makeup good? You tell me.
Who knows?
No.
Who knows?
No.
Every time the werewolf would just show up with no context, no transformation. Just all of a sudden, there's a werewolf on the screen, not coming into the, not stage left, not stage right, just bloop, there's a werewolf on screen.
I really thought it was a gorilla. I really did.
You thought it was a gorilla?
It took me a minute to figure out that was the werewolf.
Well, I mean, when they
might have
his name was Lawrence Talbot instead of Lawrence Orlowski, he was kind of like, oh, okay, I see.
And then he popped right back into his human again with the same clothes on and everything.
Yeah, and he's just like, what happened? Did I change? I don't know. It is vampire, vampire woman versus the werewolf, or werewolf versus the vampire woman, just not the good one. But kudos for trying. I mean, they have a battle. It's brief, and we have no idea how it ends.
And then who
did it better, Paul Naschy or Andy Milligan?
Oh, Paul Naschy.
Paul Naschy, sure. Even Fury of the Wolfman's better than this.
And of course, you mentioned it, and we'll chat about it now. But the stinger, and it was actually, this is actually, is this one of the first stingers that may have happened? Because they basically end with another family coming to look at another couple coming to look at the house now. And Dave Dreher. What are the names of the people that tried to buy the house?
Oh my God, it was Frankenstein.
Mr. and Mrs. Frank, called Mr. and Mrs. F in the
Mr. and Mrs.
They didn't
F.
spell out Frankenstein, but
now he's a Frankenstein, but for all we know, she's the daughter of Dr. Jekyll, which
who knows? But the
sequel we never got.
Yeah, but
so funny though.
It was a fun wink. I kind of enjoyed it, but that's a stinger, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think it meets the criteria.
Yeah, it's a stinger. It just
if
they
you
could
put
put that
credits first and then
it would be a
scene, it
stinger.
would be like we'd have to be talking about. It's like he was Marvel before Marvel.
I know, but he was on the cusp. He almost did it. Oh my God! Let's just stop there. I'm sorry, Bill. We're in danger of going longer than the film.
Yeah. Actually, I think we have. I'm looking at the counter. I think we were.
That wouldn't take much.
For the film.
Yeah, we're at 90. And it was only a 70-minute film. So yeah, we did. No, we're not at 90. We're at 63. What am I thinking? But anyhow,
that's still plenty of time.
It feels like it.
I think we may have educated 100 or 2 fans. I don't mean 102. I mean 100 or 2 fans about Bill Mulligan's favorite director,
Andy Milligan. Well, at the very least, we warned him off.
Yes. Or more people are going to be watching Blood this week than ever watched it in 1 week.
It's on YouTube. It's on. I think it was on Tubi.
It was, but it's not now.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to watch I watched it on YouTube, and it was.
Yeah, I watched YouTube too.
So a rip from a VHS, because it actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
version
it actually glitched a
before.
couple times. The old
Yep.
VHS glitch. Yeah.
It was actually a shot of another movie for a hot second. Did you see that with the train? There was a scene of a train going by all of a sudden, and then it
I
was
wondered
back
what
to the
that
film.
was. Seriously, that was.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that
funny.
was.
All right.
There was no train in this movie. It was just
Wow.
I
whatever
thought it was just one of
was-
those Ed Wood things, stick a herd of buffalo in for
No,
yeah,
couple
yeah.
extra minutes.
no. But Bill, thank you for
Okay.
bringing
Yeah.
Andy Milligan to the party.
Bill, I'm
It's,
not going to say thanks. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
We're
blame
good.
you.
No, that was a good. We've been talking. I mean, how many times have we talked about Andy Milligan in our episodes of the past?
Too many.
Comes up all the freaking time.
Once is too many.
Now we've done one. Anybody
I'll tell you,
want
there,
to
was, there was a time in the 70s you could not go to a drive-in triple feature horror or the Grindhouse triple feature. There would be an Andy Milligan movie, or there was a pretty good chance they would slap one in there just to even out the three films, and it was always the worst film of the three.
Many people probably don't know they've watched an Andy Milligan film because they probably didn't watch all of it.
Mm-hmm.
It
Good
probably came on TV and they went, nope. Went off
I don't know.
Island again.
I've never seen any of his films on TV.
I don't know if I've seen them on TV, but I know I've seen them bandied around.
Yeah.
Especially like the rats and the werewolf one comes up. And what's the one that you were talking about? They went and see
The ghastly ones.
The ghastly ones I've heard a lot about.
The ghastly ones was on the drive-in circuit way beyond its years. Like 10 years later, they'd still slap that in there. It was just, I guess
nobody knew better. All right, so well, there it is. That's our look at Andy Milligan and
Blood.
1973/1974.
Blood.
Well, there's an exclamation point at the end, so I guess it's actually blood.
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 All right, well, let's dive into some feedback.
Oh, good.
We'll put all that behind us now, and let's get to some feedback because we got some really good ones. And this is going to be fun. Of course, we want to hear from you, even about this film that we just did. So please do so. And let's hear what some of our friends on the internet had to say. We'll start off with Retro Game Man Dan from 1979 and Bill Mulligan. I'm going to just throw that at you.
Okay, he's talking about Audrey Rose, and he says,
Audrey Rose.
The talk of remaking Magic with Anthony Hopkins made me think of the title Hannibal versus Annabelle.
Annabelle.
You're a genius, Dan. Good God. That's Hannibal versus Annabelle. I'm not sure how that would work in a film. Who cares? They'll put butts in seats.
They'll put butts in seats. Oh my God. And if it's halfway good, they'll actually like it. No, that's great. Thank you, Retro Game Man.
Yeah, good call. You should be pitching to Hollywood.
All right. We have from Jose Luis. We have the Silent Scream chat. I'm going to let you do that one.
All right. Jose Luis Herrera Lepron says, I hadn't heard of this one either. Usually, even if I've not seen a film, I've heard or read about it. Looking forward to this. Edit. I'm 22 minutes in, and I now remember the VHS box at the video store with the screaming mouth and title. Never took it home, though.
Smart one. Dave, we're going to invite you in to read, was it?
Abermelon the Mage.
Abermelon the Mage. Go ahead. Do you see it on the... Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, so we have no idea what you're saying.
I'm sorry. I've been trying to selectively mute because I have a bunch of people above me in the room upstairs watching Stranger Things, making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to selectively mute as I go here, and I forgot I was on mute. Apologies for that. I'm trying to work my way around you kind of sprung this on me, Doc.
I did spring it on you. You got to get used to this.
Yeah, I've got to be on the thing. So where am I at? Which one am I supposed to be reading? The hand that feeds the dead?
No. Silent Scream, Amber. What is it? You said it right, Chad.
Abermelon the Mage.
Okay, got it. Well, this is an easy one too.
Yes.
Barbara Steele, and this holds true for me as well. Barbara Steele is one of my faves. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Or whatever
Absolutely.
her name is.
All right, I'll take the last one. This is episode 257, Hand That Feeds the Dead. And Gregory Crosby, our good friend Gregory Crosby, comes in and says, in some parallel universe, Klaus Kinski pops the clutch and says, "Eat my dust" is the tagline for the greatest Euroseas exploitation film of the 70s. I think that was something you spat out, Chad.
Yeah, I think so. Sounds like something stupid I'd say.
Yeah, Audrey Rose was episode 255, Silent Scream was episode 256, and Hand That Feeds the Dead was episode 257. So thank you, Retro Game Dan 79. Thank you, Holise Lebron 9987. I'll never be able to say this one. So what was the mage again?
Abermelin the Mage.
I don't know why I can't get it. I look at that and you go blah, 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 blah. And of course Gregory Crosby. Our next episode, we are so happy, we are so thrilled to have Dave back with us.
Heck yeah.
The next 3 months that he gets the next pick. He just comes right in and picks up the ball and does the next pick.
And we like it that way.
We do like it that way. We get surprises, and I do think Dave has a surprise. But Dave, what are we doing in 2 weeks?
Well, nothing but probably the single best disaster film of the 70s, The Towering Inferno.
The Towering Inferno.
Yep, The Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
1974
production, all-star cast. O.J. Simpson running around saving people.
O.J. Simpson. That is true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it was directed by John Gillerman, who did King Kong, 76. And yeah, Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, William Holden, Faye Dunaway, Fred Astaire, Susan Blakely, and a lot more.
Oh, just never ending.
This is one. I mean, Airport did it first, but this is one of those films where it has a disaster, and all you get like a little thing of the disaster. This was a great picture of the tower, and then along the sides or down at the bottom would be lines of
lots of heads
of all the stars, and it brought people into the theaters. This thing did buku bank and solidified the disaster films for the 70s.
Now you know what this means.
What?
Since we're doing this, Mikey Z is going to write us and tell us you'll do Towering Inferno, but you won't do the Swarm.
Oh, the Swarm is coming. We just don't know when, and we got to be in the right mood. It's got to be the right time of year.
Yeah.
The moon has to be in line with Saturn.
Yeah.
Doc's waiting for it to leave streaming. That's all.
Yes.
Oh, darn.
We're
gonna do it.
We will do it and probably do it very soon. But I don't think Chad's going to pick it. He's going to let one of us do the dirty deed.
Yeah, I'm not going
to. Because he did pick it one time, and we wouldn't let him do it.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure if the Towering Inferno would fit. When Doc asked me, I was like,
"Yeah,
it's got people being burned alive." You know,
if you're afraid of heights, if you're afraid of towers, if you're afraid of fire, this.
If you're afraid of O.J. Simpson,
this one's later. Yeah, this one's got all the fears.
The thing I love about those disaster movies, there's always that one cowardly douchebag.
Yes.
Can't wait. And Richard Chamberlain, time to shine.
He's the man in this one. Yep, he's the man in this one. Yeah.
We're gonna have a fun time in 2 weeks when we invite y'all back. But yeah, Dave, thank you. No, we real quick. Santos and I early on in this podcast, we did just one episode about just going through all the disaster films. We didn't go into depth with any of them, but we talked about the whole shebang. So coming back around and doing each one individually, I am all for it. There is, it's all of them starting in 1970 with Airport, right?
Yep.
So you got Airport, you got Poseidon Adventure, you got Earthquake, you got Towering Inferno, and more Airport films.
Yep.
Now,
Avalanche. Don't forget Avalanche. You got Avalanche.
Avalanche. You got. There's. It went on to 1980 and then died. Yeah. Just suddenly. It stopped.
When Time Ran Out was.
When Time Ran Out, which
was the last one. Yep.
Which is a
Earthquake in Sense Around.
Oh man,
Sense Around was great.
A lot to talk about. Oh my God. Well, we got to get out of here. Let's call this a good ending right here. Chad, Bill, thank you for joining me as usual, and Dave, thank you for stepping in. I am so happy.
Yeah.
Always great talking with you guys. Look forward to next week.
Same here.
Yes. All right. With that, Yeah. Yeah.
It's called Goodbye, Doc.
Stop. You can sing it right now.
I feel awkward
night.
now.
Yeah.
Gruesome Magazine.